Welcome back to Coffee Chats. I'm Emily Nagel. I'm here with Brian Orenchuk. He is our assistant youth pastor. And Ryan, we're so excited that you have joined me on Coffee Chats. Welcome, welcome.
Awesome. Very excited to be here.
Yay. Brian, give us a little bit of an intro about you. Tell us about your family, what else you do, because you're not just an assistant youth pastor. You do a lot of cool things.
Yeah. Thank you. Well, so name's Brian Orenchuk, and I live in Black Mountain with my wife and 3 little girls. I am a girl dad all the way. Oldest is 5 and middle child's 3, and we have a newborn that's, well, not new anymore, 6 months old.
Yeah.
And so enjoying that, done a lot of things in my life, been a middle school teacher and coach, still love that and involved in that in some way with some of my former students and athletes. Now I am a health and wellness coach on the side. I also do some healthcare recruiting and staffing, and then do this as well. And a lot of other irons in the fire, with different ministry opportunities and just things I'm passionate about. So yeah, kind of all over the place.
That's awesome. We're going to be learning a little bit more about that. But before we do, one thing that I've enjoyed hearing from everybody is what this season has been like for them. And of course, depending on who I've interviewed over the last few weeks, everybody's had totally different experiences. Right. So share a little bit about that. What has this season looked like?
Yeah. So it's been, it's been compounded by us having a baby at the start of the new year. I don't know if you remember, but our girl, our latest addition, was born on New Year's Day, first baby in Asheville. Lily Hope is her name, which in and of itself was a really cool thing, because this was prior to COVID, and here she is ushering in hope for a year that we didn't have any idea was going to turn out the way it was. So. But that has come with its own challenges, as any new parent knows, with sleepless nights that are still in effect to this day, and then the addition to the 3 other toddlers at home that no longer can go out and see their friends, and so we're all sequestered inside, and so that's been a change. Me working from home, which is a huge blessing, and within healthcare too, which the needs have maintained throughout the whole thing. So it's been a definite blessing. But navigating being a father and having a family that's like I said, in home all the time has been a challenge. But I think there's been a lot of lessons, and we've talked about some of this with our youth, but regarding kind of forced rest and seasons of pausing and reflecting and always being appreciative of the different seasons, and even though it might not look like what you're expecting. And so I'm coming to find, my wife and I are both learning different rhythms, what works for us, what doesn't work for us, the importance of maintaining our connection, because one of the things that me as a man struggles with so much is, like I said, I have a lot of irons in the fire, and the most important of them are my children.
Right.
And so wanted to make sure that I'm a good dad, attentive dad, but also really the number one priority is my wife, because we are a team, we're a unit, and we are one. And so if we're not on, then everything else is affected. And so learning, strategies, how to stay on, how to keep our love on, how to stay in connection has been a very humbling experience, but tons of growth that I don't think would have happened otherwise. So it's been a blessing in that regard.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's so awesome. Yeah. I can't imagine having 3 tiny humans.
Me either.
Being like, let me out of here. Let me see my friends. So I applaud you guys for persevering and staying the course. Like you said, I know it's not been easy, but we're almost on the other side in Jesus' name. So Brian, one thing that I loved to hear from you about is your salvation story. And I know, just like many others who have sat in this chair, you probably could write a book.
Yeah.
But just in the short sentences or whatever, short way, go ahead and give us a little preview about your salvation story.
Absolutely. So I was raised without really going to church, kind of, holiday churchgoers, like most of America, I think, in a Catholic church. And once we got of age where we didn't really have to go anymore if we didn't want to, we stopped going. And so that was, early on, and nobody went. And my best friend growing up was from a real devout Catholic family, strong lovers of Jesus, and they kind of took me under their wing a little bit and got more involved in different, youth opportunities. So I knew of the Lord, but not really intimately. And I had been to a youth retreat, and that's the first time I encountered Holy Spirit, although at the time I had no language for what that experience or encounter was.
Right.
And I wouldn't until years and years later. But, I went to college, got my heart broken, strayed from the Lord, which is a whole nother crazy story, because that moment is when I met Karen, that if I were maturely walking with the Father, I would have seen his response and just how that works, but I didn't. And so it didn't end up being until I ended up moving out to Colorado completely on my own. I was supposed to go with my brother and cousin and a friend of ours. I'm the only one that made it there. And I was there for 3 years completely by myself. I didn't have a job or a place to stay when I moved there, which is another funny story. And it ended up just being a spiritual boot camp for me. There were a lot of moments where the Lord sent people into my life and really drew me into him, and had an Abraham, Isaac moment, and really just surrendered. And it was my time out in Colorado as a young man, 26, 27 years old, where I just, became focused on him. And then Karen and I got together. We moved to Asheville, North Carolina, right up the road from here, and I encountered Holy Spirit and was involved in that church that really grew me spiritually, all the way up until this past year when I came here on staff. So it's been I think I matured later in my life, but it tends to be a story of a lot of people. But yeah, it's been a unique story. I'm still the only believer in my family. So that's posed another interesting twist to family gatherings and things like that. But I'm blessed. I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now you mentioned meeting Karen. How did you guys meet?
Oh man, so in college I was a walk-on the football team, and one of the guys on the team that frequented the off-campus apartment that I lived in was a guy named Brent, and Brent ended up having a class with Karen the semester prior, and so they became friends, and then he and I became friends, and it started over playing some video games together, and we just got real close, and they were getting real close, and he introduced us, and we quickly became friends. But like I mentioned, I had got my heart broken, and I was totally averse to anything regarding emotion or romance, and I just was anti-women, and so we just became friends, and we developed our friendship for years, and finally when I was ready to turn the corner, which by the way, it was the type of relationship that all of our friends and family knew something was deeper, something deeper was going on. I would write poetry for her without telling her. She would write songs for me and play them in coffee shops on open mic, and we didn't really cross that line. Come to find out, women need you to tell them how you feel. They're not just going to assume
how you
feel, which was a lesson that took me years to learn. But yeah, she ended up getting with another guy, and she proposed to him, or he proposed to her, and she said yes. Crazy part about that is I had a dream about her that same day when I was in Colorado, and I called her right after he proposed.
Oh my God!
And she answered, and then I had this whole decision to make. Do I support my friend in her engagement, or do I tell the literal woman of my dreams that she is the woman of my dreams? And long story.
I didn't know that detail.
Yeah,
whoa,
no,
that's awesome.
It gets crazy, but obviously you know the end result. So.
Yeah, we see who won in the end.
Right.
That is awesome. Wow. Yeah, I didn't know I knew that she had been engaged before, but I didn't know that you called her the day of and had this conflict inside.
I went. Her sister got married shortly after that, and I went to that wedding. And it was my first time seeing her since she had been engaged, or since I moved to Colorado. And that weekend alone, we could write a book on the different encounters between he and I, between she and I, between some of her friends and family and myself. It was pretty. I won't say awkward, but it was definitely. Exciting, for dramatic sense.
For a movie script.
Yeah, for sure. And but yeah, I never kissed her. We never kissed until after knowing each other for like 9 years. But it was intense. And I mean, the story goes on, but it's for another day, maybe.
Wow. Yeah. Another coffee chat. Season
maybe.
2.
Right.
So we talked about you've had a lot of cool jobs. You are currently working several cool jobs. But if you weren't doing any of those, what would you be doing? Like, what's your dream job or something like out of the box that you've always wanted to do?
Yeah, good question. I think it might be a combination personal trainer, life coach, and particularly working on our youth, our young adult men, and I think incorporating training and coaching other men how to coach our youth.
Yeah.
I think that would be super fun for me. I kind of lose myself in my element. You know how they say like true work doesn't feel like work.
Right,
I feel like that would be it for me, which is ironic because I have 3 girls. I'm surrounded by women all day, but I just love guys and pouring into boys. So I get to do that some now with my nephews that are nearby us. But I think it would involve that was helping people grow into who they're called to be, and physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome. So along those lines, what are some spiritual disciplines that you incorporate in your life to stay on fire for the Lord, to keep that stirring up and hearing His voice and that kind of thing?
Yeah, good question. I think I'm a doer by nature. I set out to get things done, and I accomplish them, and whether or not they're successful, is another story. But I think maintaining my humility is important for me, and it really starts with my mentality at the beginning to start each day. Laying it at the Lord's feet and just kind of being an open canvas for Him, declaring that I'm His tool, His vessel, to carry out His will. That kind of helps me, keep the right perspective throughout the day, and hear His still small voice, and trust in the different directions that life can take us. Because especially during this season, you're getting thrown around in unexpected areas regularly. So that's been huge for me, especially in this season. Being okay with change, and the changing of the tides and whatnot. But staying in His Word has been huge, even if it's just a little bit each day. Getting that daily bread has been really critical for me. I was just lamenting recently, my Bible app streak broke at like 150.
Oh man!
And but I was like, you know what? It's okay. It's not just for the streak. It's for staying in the Lord's Word. And but it was funny. But yeah, even just little nuggets each day have been huge. And then setting my day, declaring it each morning has been big.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So we talked about your younger self and your passion for raising up young men. If you could go back and talk to your teenage self, what is something you would say?
Oh man, that's a good question. I would say seek Him now. Seek Him intimately now, because when I was young, I don't think I trusted that the Lord's best for me was better than I could have imagined.
Right.
And it really is. And I mean, literally, the day I came home from breaking my heart, Karen was right there. And it goes on more than that. There are situations. I was big into football. Thought I was going to be a pro football player someday, and I'm a little too small for that. But there's twists that you don't see coming, and at the time you think they're the worst things that could ever happen to you.
Oh yeah.
But you look back and you're like, man, if that hadn't happened, then I wouldn't have experienced this or whatnot. So I think trusting Him fully and knowing that He does have your best interests in mind from a young age, I think that would have released me from a lot of self-inflicted turmoil.
For sure. One thing that I admire and respect about you and Karen is your parenting technique. The way that you guys just communicate with your girls is so beautiful. And I'm just already like picking up some stuff and be like, I need that for later when I have kids one day. But how would you describe your parenting technique? What are some like foundational things to raising a little tribe of children?
Yeah, great question. And honestly, I think it's got to stay fluid, because one thing consistent about children is it's never consistent. They grow and they evolve so frequently that you have to adapt to it. But I think, and again, just like everything else in life, we're human, and so we're not. We're not perfect, and that is regarding how we parent and our emotions and how we let our emotions influence how we're parenting. So, trying to stay on the same page, natural consequences are huge. And I think giving them information at a level, maybe at their level, but holding them up to high expectations that they can handle and process things is huge. Not giving them dumbed down versions of expectations or too low for them. Just like anything in life, I'm confident in you set the bar higher, and I'm not like a drill sergeant with my girls or anything.
No, you're not.
but you set the bar high, just so that they know what they're capable of, because they are, and you let them grow in that, but also being tender and being there to love on them. So definitely a mix of, and having girls around all day, I've kind of flexed that tender muscle more, but being firm, but being flexible, I think is huge, and doing things in love, not doing things out of emotion.
That's big. Good. That's so good. That's awesome. Well, Brian, thank you so much for answering these questions. We're going to shift a little bit into getting to know you a little bit more, but a little lighter, a little more fun here.
Right.
And we've been calling this rapid fire. But if you want to elaborate, you can. But most of these are just kind of like quick answer things. So here we go.
Let's do it.
Texting or talking?
Ooh, texting.
Awesome. Or what most people don't know, we use an app, Voxer, which is like walkie-talkies.
That's my favorite.
Yeah. That's like our primary communication.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
Favorite day of the week?
That's a great question. Saturday.
Nice. Yeah. Come on, a weekend.
Yeah.
Gotta have a good weekend in there. Favorite U.S. city?
Chicago.
Nice. Their airport, though? Not so much.
Yeah. Both of them to be
oh yeah, I've only
much to
been
be
in O'Hare.
desired.
Is it O'Hara?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was. I cried in the airport once.
It's tough. But once you get off, there's a whole lot of awesome.
Yeah. Mayonnaise or mustard?
Mustard.
A nickname you had growing up?
Chuck.
Oh.
B Chuck.
B Chuck.
Let's see, Little Chuck, because I have an older brother.
Nice.
Mostly Chucks, and then my college football coach nicknamed me Crazy Legs.
Oh, okay. And why was that?
Because I'm quick on my feet.
Quick on his feet. Watch out.
Used to be.
Yeah. Hey, I feel like you're still probably pretty fast. Yeah. Would you rather be able to speak every language in the world or speak to animals?
Every language.
Nice. Favorite holiday?
Thanksgiving.
Nice. Dawn or dusk?
Dawn.
If you could travel back in time, what time period would you like to visit?
Medieval times.
Medieval. Do you snore?
No.
We'll ask Karen for clarification.
Feel
I'm just
free.
kidding. Favorite junk food?
Funnel cakes.
Oh my gosh, what? How many hours of sleep do you need to function?
Oh man, more than I'm getting the past few years. Gosh, it's tough. I like to say 8, but I think if I get 7, I'm lucky. So, 7, 6 is what I'm lucky to get nowadays.
But if we can bump it up to 7, we're thriving.
That'd be awesome. Yeah.
What's your favorite food?
That's so funny. I love food, and if I'm eating it, I say it's my favorite then. It's probably a mix between sushi.
Okay, nice.
And I don't know. I love Italian food. I don't know. I'll just go with sushi. Barbecue. I love barbecue. Like Luella's barbecue is delicious.
There you go. That is awesome.
I don't know. It just depends on what mood I'm in. But sushi, I can do that whenever.
So kind of moving along, food stuff. If you had to eat the same meal every day for a year, what would it be?
Good question. I would say a side of roasted sweet potatoes with onions and regular potatoes in there, and Brussels. I'll say some baked chicken along with that, and maybe some couscous or quinoa.
Look at that. What a lovely meal.
Yeah,
Okay.
it sounds good, right?
Yeah, no, that sounds great. I'm like, yeah, I would eat that
I was
every
gonna
day.
say steak, but I think for a whole year steak
lot
might
of
get
red
old.
meat.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. What is your favorite clothing brand?
That's a great question. I don't know anymore.
I think I asked Blake this, and he was like, "I don't know clothing brands."
Yeah.
Like, or well, I can't remember. Maybe it was.
I don't know
Blake.
what's hip nowadays, but I do like comfortable workout gear, and
What's your favorite now?
Lululemon is
Oh,
a
nice.
good one.
Yeah.
I don't have much from them, but I do like what I have.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, let's just go with that because they have some epic shorts I wear.
There
to
you
work
go.
out.
There you go. I like it. So, along the lines of working out, what is your favorite workout? Or like movement,
Yeah.
lifting? Like, what's your favorite to do?
Yeah. Well, something that's I love to compete. So I think something that's competing is fun, or like doing some sort of CrossFit or workout with a partner.
Yeah.
I think that's fun. But I like this sounds crazy, but I like burpees because it's a full body workout. But I also like box jumps or
Okay.
box squats, where
Yes.
you can get deeper into your workout with that.
Yeah.
Box lunges I love. And then you can flip around and do some incline, decline, push-ups on the boxes. So maybe give me a box and I'll do
There
all
you
sorts
go.
of workouts with
That
it.
sounds better. Burpees, not so much.
Yeah.
This was before you guys got here, but Nick did a burpee on stage during a sermon once.
Oh, really?
And him and Blake have also box jumped the stage.
Oh, really?
There's not video footage, but we may have to like have you all do. I mean, we always talk about the basketball thing with
Right.
like some of the pastors. They have, how men are,
Right.
like competitive stuff
Right.
and like all that stuff. So maybe we should have like a jump off on the stage.
I'm game.
Okay.
But I'm also a little bit younger, so it might not be fair.
It doesn't matter if it's fair.
I mean,
tell them to step their game
Yeah,
up.
I'm totally down for sure.
Oh, that's awesome. Let's see. What cheers you up?
Man, my little girls. No matter what sort of I'm about to cry. No matter what sort of day you have, right? And with work it can be tough. With life it can be tough. Having them just come up and hug your neck and tell you that they love you, and that they mean it with everything that they have, and really that's the only thing that matters.
Yeah.
Is I'll cheer anybody up.
Yeah.
But
They cheer me up.
Yeah.
I miss them so much. I have not
they
seen them
miss you
since
too.
February.
It's been good for them to see you online at least.
Yeah.
I know you don't get to see them.
Hey girls,
but,
I love you and miss you.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, they're sweet.
Yes. Oh my goodness. What is the worst household chore?
Laundry.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, laundry.
What annoys you?
I feel like a lot of things, although I'm drawing a blank right now. What annoys me? I think so. I'll just talk about driving because I just drove here.
Okay, yeah, it's a fresh
driving.
annoyance.
So like putting your blinker on and not actually getting in the lane.
Have you and Nick ever talked? Okay. Nick is very much about this life.
Yeah. About the driver's life.
yeah.
Yeah, that irritates me. People going slow in the fast lane irritates me. Yeah. So, it's
I
pretty
hear
tough.
Nick shouting amen to this.
Yeah,
That's
amen.
his thing.
Amen.
Yeah.
It is frustrating.
What's the best date you've ever taken Karen on?
So I don't recommend this because it set the bar way too high.
Oh man.
But it was after we were married. It was our first year anniversary.
Yeah. Good.
We got married not too far from here in Tuckasegee, which is kind of near Silva.
Yeah.
And it was a place called Castle Lady Hawk,
Oh,
which was
yes.
a lady's home that she renovated to be a wedding venue. And it was an awesome wedding, had a lot of fun. But as any wedding, you don't really get to experience it too much.
Yeah.
So I ended up contacting the lady the next year, and we went back for our 1-year anniversary. So it was kind of like a special, like a night or two date that I took her on. back in the castle, just her and myself.
That's awesome.
And our dog.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, that was super fun.
That is so cool. Yeah, that was you're setting it high for
I
sure.
had coworkers of mine, ladies that were my elder, and they were like, it's your first anniversary. You don't want to go too high with that one. I was like, one other time would be good to do that.
Yeah,
to get back.
might as well. As well. But, one of my favorite questions to ask is, if you were on The Voice or American Idol, what song would you sing to audition?
You're gonna love this one. 30 Seconds to Mars.
Okay.
I think it's called The Breakdown.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I like it. His vocals are awesome.
They're way higher than mine. I mean, I can do that. I can try that song once, and then my vocal capacity is done.
Fried.
Yeah, he's talented.
Oh my goodness.
But it also that song, it reminds me of my relationship with Karen.
Yeah.
So, and ironically enough, when we got together, it was this whole road trip story. Her car broke down. It was really the Lord's way of keeping her there. I was with my brother. We were with my brother, and he has that game Rock Band.
Nice, yes.
And it was before we got together. Hadn't even kissed yet, and I sang that song with her there in Rock Band. It was epic.
Wow.
My brother was like,
look at him go. He can hit all the notes.
Yeah.
What celebrity would you like to meet?
Mel Gibson.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. Favorite NFL team?
Chicago Bears.
Favorite college football team?
Central Florida Knights.
Of course.
Yeah.
Favorite hockey team?
Colorado Avalanche.
Oh. Favorite NBA?
Orlando Magic.
Nice. Favorite, let me think, it just hopped. College basketball team.
Michigan Wolverines.
Look at you. You're all over the place.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I like it. No, that's cool. You can like whoever you like.
Yeah, thanks.
Why Michigan, though?
So I don't know if you remember the Fab Five growing up. It might have been before your time. So when I was growing up, there's the Michigan Wolverines, when they played Duke and they lost in the championship game because their player, Chris Webber, their star, called a timeout. They didn't have any timeouts. That team was my favorite team of all time. They transcended the game, and Blake will tell you that. They did a whole bunch of they brought so much style to basketball, and I just remember being captivated by that. And yeah, plus I loved I'm all football. I loved their football team because their helmets. If you've ever seen their helmets, they're like these winged helmets, and it was the same helmet style that my dad's high school team had. So I was drawn to them, want to be like my dad and whatever. Yeah. So I liked their football team. So I liked their basketball team, which also was a time when they were pretty good. And yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. That's awesome. Well, Ryan, thank you so much for joining me. It's been so cool. I've learned some new stuff.
Yeah.
And I just appreciate you. I'm so glad you're on the team.
Yeah, me too.
For those who don't know, Brian came on in January, and we went to Shabak in February. We were dreaming big. We had all this stuff, and then it was like, oh, pandemic. But you have been so faithful as we've done Zooms, and we've just moved to meeting the students once a week for 1 hour, face-to-face, socially distanced, all that good stuff. So I'm just thankful that you've been on my team during all this, because I could not have done it without you. And now we have Allison, and it's just so exciting what God's doing in youth ministry here at New Covenant Church.
Absolutely.
And I think greater things are on the horizon for sure.
Me too, for sure. Happy to be here too. It's been a blessing.
Awesome. Well, friends, we love you. We cannot wait to see you. We've got some really exciting announcements coming about Coffee Chats, and you will be seeing that in the works. Like I said, that's coming very soon, and I'm very excited. So we will keep you posted. You guys have a fabulous week, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.